Good evening. The Supreme Court heard oral arguments today in a case examining President Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship and the power of federal courts to issue nationwide injunctions. Representing the Trump administration, United States Solicitor General D. John Sauer argued that nationwide injunctions exceed the constitutional powers of lower courts. Fox News reports Sauer contended these orders, quote, transgress the traditional bounds of equitable authority and create a host of practical problems, including forcing, quote, rushed, high-stakes, low-information decisions. He further stated, according to Fox News,
and that such injunctions, quote, operate asymmetrically, forcing the government to win everywhere. Solicitor General Sauer explained the administration's position is that federal courts can intervene for specific plaintiffs, but not issue these broad, nationwide blocks. Several justices questioned this position.
Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, as reported by the New York Times and CNN, characterized the administration's stance as potentially creating what she called a catch-me-if-you-can regime.
CNN quotes Justice Jackson expressing concern that, quote, everybody has to have a lawyer and file a lawsuit in order for the government to stop violating people's rights. Solicitor General Sauer countered, according to CNN,
that the catch-me-if-you-can problem, quote, operates in the opposite direction, with the government, quote, racing from jurisdiction to implement a new policy. Justice Elena Kagan, as reported by CNN, questioned if eliminating nationwide injunctions would hinder individuals' ability to bring substantive questions about a policy to the Supreme Court.
And Justice Amy Coney Barrett, according to CNN, asked Solicitor General Sauer why the government opposes nationwide injunctions, but seems to accept class action judgments. Sauer responded that class actions are harder to secure,
and that class members would be collectively bound by a loss. The New York Times notes that justices across the ideological spectrum have previously expressed concerns about nationwide injunctions,
and that both political parties have utilized them.
The arguments also addressed President Trump's executive order titled Protecting the Meaning and Value of American Citizenship. CNN reports this order would bar the federal government from issuing citizenship documents to children born on United States soil, to parents unlawfully in the country, or those lawfully present but temporarily. This challenges the long-standing interpretation of the 14th Amendment, which states, in part, all persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens. The New York Times highlights
that the Supreme Court affirmed birthright citizenship in the 1898 case United States versus Wong Kim Ark. Solicitor General Sauer argued, as reported by the New York Times, that the 14th Amendment's birthright provision was intended for freed slaves,
not immigrants. The New York Times describes this view as a, quote, once fringe theory rejected by most scholars and courts.
During the arguments, Fox News reported an instance where Chief Justice John Roberts intervened. As Justice Sonia Sotomayor was questioning Solicitor General Sauer and, according to the Fox News report, repeatedly interrupting him, Chief Justice Roberts interjected, quote,
"Can I hear the rest of his answer?" Fox News also reports Justice Sotomayor argued that President Trump's order violated 4 Supreme Court precedents. CNN reported that questioning from Justice Barrett led Solicitor General Sauer to concede that the legal arguments defending the merits of President Trump's birthright order were, quote, novel and sensitive. The consolidated cases before the court, as listed by Fox News, are Trump versus CASA, Trump versus the state of Washington, and Trump versus New Jersey.
Fox News reports the court chose to fast-track the case and adds that an opinion or order could come within weeks or even days. According to a Fox News data analysis, a Supreme Court decision in this matter could affect more than 310 federal lawsuits that have challenged White House actions since January 20th, 2025.
A date Fox News identifies as the start of President Trump's second presidency. The New York Times reports that judges have issued more than a dozen nationwide injunctions against the Trump administration on various issues.
CNN notes that while Justice Department attorneys aim to focus on the injunctions, President Trump, in a Truth Social post, emphasized ending birthright citizenship, stating, quote,
Birthright citizenship was not meant for people taking vacations to become permanent citizens of the United States of America and bringing their families with them, all the time laughing at the suckers that we are. The issue before the Supreme Court, as reported by CNN, is whether lower courts overstepped their authority by issuing these nationwide injunctions. CNN also notes that while the High Court is not deciding at this time
whether President Trump can end birthright citizenship, its analysis will consider the likelihood of success on the merits of that policy. Thank you for watching AITV News. Please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.